We're on right here. The last few fights, Dan Ige and Josh Emmett, and those were ranked guys that were kind of moving you up to this division. Now you get a guy that's not technically ranked in Aaron Pico, but some would say probably outside of a title fight might be the biggest name in the UFC featherweight division. So I'm curious, like, do you agree with that assessment, and what do you make of Aaron as an opponent?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think rankings have anything to do with it. Most of the time, they don't mean anything. So everybody knows his level in the world, and he's got a big name. So for me, he's ranked number 3. That's how, or whatever. That's how I'm looking at it. And it's a solid opponent and a great matchup.
Did you watch much of Aaron in Bellator and PFL and everything when he was over there? Because he is that unique. He didn't have a career before Bellator. He was 0-0 when
Mm.
he signed with Bellator. So I guess how much of him did you watch back then?
Yeah, I watch MMA across the board. I'm an MMA fan. So yeah, I've watched his fights from earlier. I've watched his wins. I've watched his losses. So yeah, I know about him.
And, when he was in here and he said, he's now officially, he can feel like a UFC fighter because for so long, fans would come up to him and he'd tell them he trains MMA and they think he's in the UFC. They never heard of Bellator. They
Mm.
never heard of PFL. We've seen guys like, Pitbull came over and Patchy Mix came over, and there might have been UFC jitters, like maybe the spotlight got to them. So I'm curious, do you think that that's real? And do you think Aaron would even feel that? Because he seems like a guy that has been in the spotlight since before he even moved over to MMA.
Yeah, well, that's it. Everybody's different. Everybody handles pressure differently as well. So I'm not banking on that to happen, but it's a possibility. This is the biggest show in the world, and what an arena to make your debut. So yeah, that could play a factor. It could be a factor. And yeah, this is the place to be. The UFC, biggest fight organization in the world. You go back to like the likes of Patchy Mix and stuff like that. I just think that comes down to matchup, or and also these other guys that have come over that have not performed may not have been in the prime. I think Aaron Pico's in his prime, so I expect to see the best version of him.
I don't know if you followed when the drama with the PFL. A lot of fighters were asking for their release, and
Mm.
Pitbull was asking for it, Pico was asking for it. I'm curious, did you pay attention to that? And if you did, and you saw that was happening, did you think like, oh, I might have to be matched up with these two within the next 12 months?
Yeah, for sure. I seen that happening, and I always know that guys are gonna eventually end up in the UFC. This is the place MMA fighters want to be. Yeah. So when I seen that happening, I knew it was a possibility. And the cream rises to the top. So I knew from when I seen him fight years ago, I knew that one day he'll be in the UFC as well.
And this is, relatively, I guess, short notice because you didn't, he was supposed to fight in July and now he's fighting in August. Did you know so I guess how far back in advance did you know that you might be fighting Aaron Pico on this card?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. So 2 weeks of training. But like I've said in previous interviews, I train all year round. I'm a true professional. So for me, it's not getting off the couch or not coming back from injury or whatever. I've been training, so I'm ready to go.
And there are some fighters that have that mindset that like the short notice because they don't have to think about Aaron Pico for 9, 11 weeks doing interviews, being like, oh, what do you think of Aaron Pico 12 weeks before the fight? So do you prefer these kind of short notice ones?
I think it's got pros and cons. Short notice, obviously. I believe I'm a technician, so the longer I can study somebody and work on certain things, the better. But in terms of your body and health, like your body health, a 12-week camp's a long time. And he's been training for a 5-round fight, so I'm sure he's carrying bumps and bruises. I don't know. But yeah, mentally, I don't want to be waking up thinking about the same guy for 12 weeks. So that's a blessing. I feel good physically and mentally. So yeah, we're all good.
Just last one for me. When Aaron was in here, he's saying, we asked him, like, did the UFC promise you a title fight with a win here? And so our same question, did the UFC promise or make any promise to you about possibly fighting for the belt with a win over Aaron Pico?
I don't know. I've just got to win and see.
When you got the call for the Aaron Pico fight, what made you accept it? And since you are ranked in the division number 6 and he's not ranked at all, what does this do for your career moving forward if you do win?
Yeah, for me, it's a big card and a big spot. on a big card, pay-per-view card, co-main event. Like, how can I turn that fight down? And obviously, he's got a big name. It's not like it's a nobody coming into the UFC, and they asking me to fight. I mean, this is a big name that I'm fighting, and beating Aaron Pico is going to put me into that #1 contender spot. You're supposed to fight Movsar, like and Movsar got hurt or sick or whatever happened. But so I'm the replacement now. So this is the #1 contender fight.
Aaron's been finished in 3 of his last 4 fights. One aren't not 3 of the last 4 fights, but 3 of his last 4 losses. Sorry, and one of them was by injury. Are you looking for a finish in this fight, or are you just looking to win by any means?
I would always love to finish a fight, always, but however I win, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to come out with a win and put on an exciting fight, and that's my goal.
Lerone, sorry. You win this fight, you'll be in a very small group of fighters who have never lost in their first 10 UFC fights. That includes Khabib Nurmagomedov, Anderson Silva, some of the all-time greats. I guess, what would that mean to you to get into that special echelon of fighters who went 10 fights to start their career without a loss?
Yeah, it sounds cool. It sounds cool on your resume, but my ultimate goal is to get to the title. So whatever happens to get there, it happens. I just need to reach my goal, and that's it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're not getting your respect for what you've done coming into this fight? Like, we see Alexander Volkanovski is kind of picking, some shots at Pico and stuff, saying you'd mop the floor with him. Doesn't really seem to be talking too much about you. What do you make of that?
Don't really bother me, to be honest. I think from what I've seen, they've had a back and forth. Well, Pico's come out and said some things about you beat Alex Volkanovski, and he's just responding. So to me, that's all noise to me. I've got to focus on the fight on Saturday night.
Yeah, Lerone. I'd ask Aaron this question as well. What is your opinion? I know you said you got to focus on the fight and you don't pay too much attention in the background, but like, obviously the fans are loud, they're in the building, and like you kind of embraced it in the Josh Emmett fight in the Apex. You said, come on, like, bring it on, boo me, right? We seen with the Patchy mix and the Mario Batista fight, it was kind of that scenario where one guy was getting booed, the UFC guy, and the Bellator guy came in. But as soon as the fight played out, the script got flipped, and all of a sudden they're cheering for Mario Batista. So on your end, like, when you come out to the press conference tomorrow, are you expecting to be booed? Are you expecting cheers? Or does it not matter to you at all?
I probably prefer to get booed, to be honest. I got booed in my debut fighting a Russian fighter in Abu Dhabi, and that just give me fire. You feel like you're fighting for your life, and that's when you switch on. You get what I'm saying? So I don't mind if I get booed or cheered. It doesn't matter to me. For me, I'm fighting on enemy territory. He's American, right? So I'm more than likely going to get booed, if anything.
I was just going back to the Josh Emmett fight. Like, when you're in the cage, and like, especially if it gets amplified in an arena like that, you go in there with a strategy, and like, with a guy like Josh Emmett, you're trying not to get, hit by that big hook or that big overhand.
Of course.
In an arena, when it does get amplified like that, is there a part of you that's like, oh man, I'm ready to just like throw down, and you know what, like, fuck it, I'm going to play into the crowd a little bit? Or are you 100% locked in on that game plan?
I think I'm laser focused, I'm properly laser focused. For me, once I'm in that cage, I feel like it goes silent. It's like it's silent, and all I see is me and him. I don't even see the crowd, and I'm locked in. So for me, that's not going to bother me. I've been there, fought in front of big crowds, you get me? So.
Just over here, obviously, I know you got the co-main event, your fight to think about.
Yes.
But I just want your thoughts on the actual main event. Who you got in that one?
Oh, it's a massive fight, great fight, and part of me, not even wishes, but part of me wants to be a fan in attendance to watch that fight. It's a great fight, but I don't know. It's very 50-50. Hamzat seems like an anomaly to me, the way he's dominated everybody. I seen a stat before that nobody's lasted over a minute without getting taken down from him. So we'll see what happens in that fight. I just want to see a good fight.
Just a couple from me over here.
Yeah.
You go. Were there any other fights in the works for you before you took this opportunity against Pico?
No, I've been asking for a fight. Obviously, I wanted to stay active from not fighting in the whole of 2022. Since that happened, it's just changed my whole mindset. I want to be active as much as possible before this thing's done. So, was waiting on the UFC to give me an opponent, but it seemed like everybody in front of me was injured, and this was the best opportunity possible.
Gotcha. And then on the Pico fight, taking this opportunity on, with 3 weeks notice and all that, you've been quoted as saying, a fighter like me who's quiet and whatnot, I've got to take these chances. Do you believe a lack of being quiet and outspoken and hitting social media like a lot of these other fighters do, you think that's cost you some opportunities in the UFC?
Yeah, for sure, and that's kind of a lesson to these up and coming fighters. You have to do the work away from the cage as well. You can't just rely on that. It's a harder road, it's a longer road without doing that. So if I was to raise a bunch of fighters, I'd have them on that kind of stuff from early. You need to do it nowadays.
I mean, fans are starting to wake up to your skill set, and for those that like don't know who you are, like, what's one thing you wish people understood about Lerone Murphy?
I don't know. Just that's a hard question, but it's a good question. But for me, people always judge me and whatnot. But it's like, bro, I started this thing late. I'm fighting all these guys that have been doing this from young. I started this at 22 years old, yeah, and I'm number 6 in the world now, fighting co-main event, and still undefeated. So what can anybody say about that? Thank you.